Welcome to the Trading Lounge and the Asian Report. Today we're just going to cover the Australian market and some Australian banks. And for people that have been with Trading Lounge for a little while now, you may remember this chart. We haven't used it for a long time, but basically we've just been filling it in as we go, and I haven't filled it in for ages. But this will start down at the GFC low here, I think, from memory. And we had our first one here at in 210 and then 212, and maybe I'll have to get it updated. But pretty much now, this was the whole GFC coming down through here on the ASX 200, and then we were looking for an A and a B and a C wave up through to here for the primary wave B here. And then we're looking for 5 waves down here. So currently with this sort of situation here, we're at the 5,000 here. So we've come all the way up here. We've come back into this point here. We're still in this leg here though, as such. We've had a spike below this, but it's just interesting as such. For this, if this was going to continue to be correct, then we're still like a year and a half out from having this low from here as such. So with this in mind, this pattern here, we'll go to the chart now. So currently we're about here somewhere. So on the weekly chart here, this was the GFC here, this was the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave up to this point here. Now it is possible, we're kind of expecting it from the US and European markets, but the Asian markets just don't have that same thing, but we'll see. But it's possible that this is wave 1 and wave 2 here, wave 3 here, wave 4 pulling back to some previous wave 4s in here, and then seeing another wave 5 up here, like we're looking for the European markets. But I don't know, it just hasn't got the right sort of feel about it at this stage. It's more like this one here. We've been over this before, but I just thought I'd touch on it again here. So we're pretty much still in this first leg coming down through here, and when we look at this here, we can see that we've got pretty much wave 1 and 2 here, and this is obviously a third wave coming down here, isn't it? So and I don't think this is finished, this third wave. I think we've got one more move in here, then a fourth, and then a fifth coming into this play, then an ABC correction, and then down from that stage. But if we do get a clear 5-wave structure down through here, then we can confirm that we will get this one here. And obviously this one here is the third wave. Will be the straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak, and we'll probably see property prices and things follow the stock market. So if you think about buying or selling property, once we can confirm 5 waves here, then that we'll get this over here, and the property market won't be far behind it. So we could have a look at the interest rate market too, I guess, when this comes into play. That obviously dictates what's going on as well. Okay, so just moving in here on the daily chart. So we're looking for 5 waves down, and we've got wave 1 and wave 2 here. So we're into wave 3 here. Now, with this situation here with wave 3 here, we've had the situation where we've had this really large bounce up here. Now, I don't really know which way to approach this in the sense, because it's possible to count 5 waves down to this point here. So it may be good to put this wave 3 here as such, and then this then a orange wave 4 here, then coming down through here. I'm not quite sure how to approach this just yet here. The other side to this is kind of more in line with the banks, where we have this down here as wave 1 and wave 2 here as such, then another wave 1 down and wave 2 coming back to this point. And we'll look at the banks in a moment on this issue. On the I'm not sure what charts I've done here, but okay, this will do. So this move up here, we were sort of, with the US and European markets, we were sort of hopeful that it was a corrective move, and and that's why we've got 20 odd trades through Europe and US all on the short side and no longs, and that's confirming that we're on the right track now. So we can look at a move coming down here. But like the DAX at 10,000, this market has arrived at 5,000, both, big numbers and major trading levels. So we can expect them to dance around here a little bit. So, we've had this sort of strong third wave down through here, obviously. So we're going to get a series of fourth and fifths here. What you see here is not what you get over here. So just be a little bit careful about that. But this now, with this move down to this low here, it really confirms this as a corrective move here. Just don't know. If I line it up with the European and US markets, then I'd consider it a wave 4. But in counting it, it's just the trick is here, if you've got time and you can figure it out, and so from this top here, it would count pretty much like 5 waves down here as such, but I can't get the 5 waves there. I mean, I could probably say to myself, well, that looks like a wave 4 coming across here, but then that leaves wave 3 really short here. So it's all a little bit sort of iffy. So I haven't sort of nailed it down just yet, but I think that if we work with the banks a little bit and their wave counts, that could be quite helpful for us, and I'll look at those in a moment. This current move down here, considering it an impulse wave, it's slightly different from the US markets as such, and I've labelled it differently as well. But in this case here, I've got down for 1, back for 2 here, and we're looking for 5 waves down here for wave 3 here, and then wave 4. So, and I think this is right, because it would only be natural to expect the market to swing, bounce around at this number here for a while, and having 2 sets of wave 4s here would really align that properly there. So it's okay to be short or to go short, but you'll have to keep the stop at least here, and obviously because most of us overtrade all the time, that's just too much heat to take on for the longer term to the downside. But there is potential, for the downside once the 5,000 becomes the resistance here. But just mapping this out a little bit here, obviously there's a couple of numbers here. The 4/8 is really important. And once this 5 waves finishes here, we could look at coming back into another retest of wherever this is the 50-60% here, but all these consolidations here, it'll probably be retested from here before we see any further downside such. When we have a look at the banks, let's start with WBC. Now, if I sort of line this up with the US markets and so forth, then we'd be looking at this as an A wave and a B wave and a C wave down here. When we look for this move down here to be much the same as the distance as this move here. And of course, we're bouncing around $30, another major trading level. So that's going to line up with the ASX 200 and the finance sector and so forth. But here I had the same sort of problem as well. I can count wave 1 down to here and wave 2 to here. So this must be also wave 1 here and wave 2 here. So it's possible that this could actually pick up speed down into below between the 28 and the 2650 sort of area here. So we could be seeing, like wave 1, wave 2 here perhaps, and then wave 1 and wave 2, and then wave 1 and wave 2. So the banks could lead us lower quickly, because we know that the resource sector, the oil market, we've had 5 waves up off the low, so it needs to pull back a little bit, but it will go up again. So there's going to be some support in the energy sector for the short term at least. But the banking sector here looks quite weak and gives really good shorting opportunities if that's what you're looking for. The CBA got a slightly different count, but same, but just slightly different. So, we've had our big move down through here, and I've just labelled it wave A. It could be wave 1. I just don't know yet. But what I was looking for originally was, 5 waves down here, 50-60% retracement level up here, and then another 5 waves down, coming into our target of the 72 area here, and also the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree. So this move down through here on the CBA, this wave 2 here has got a low below this previous low here. On Westpac it hasn't got that, so it's a slightly different count, but this count here counts quite nicely as 1 and 2, and obviously third wave here, fourth wave and fifth wave here. So we could see it terminate in here. So I would, if you're trading the SPY, I'd be very careful about this situation coming here. We'd be looking for 5 waves down here. So that means going back to the ASX 200 just for a moment here. Once this wave 5 finishes down here, that will be possibly this wave 5 here too. So I think that this is what we need to be. Beyond this, we need to reassess what we're doing. So this would be pretty much in line with the US and US markets pushing back up from this point. So coming back to the CBA here, the other point with, if I'm wrong here, what I do need to do is I need to work out that there's a possibility that this blue wave 3 here is only this wave 3 here. So this is what I need to figure out. I can see that there's 5 waves to here, and it does appear that wave 2 is here, but it also appears that this is just wave 3 of this green one here, and green wave 4 and green wave 5 here, then blue wave 4 here, and then another move down through here. I think that that's a possibility as well, and I need to basically not only look at CBA, but I need to look at the other markets, as other banks as well, to try and figure out what that story is here. So yeah, I need to pull this apart in here, but it's a little bit hard because it's so gappy and things, you know. But anyway, I'll endeavour to do that. But in the meantime, the trade really is from wave 4 down to wave 5. Now I'm wondering if I've got AMP on this one here as well, because that actually had quite a nice structure. Let me just find it, see if I can find it here. Just see if I can find thought I might have had it labelled, might be on a 2-hour chart or something. If not, then I can just still point it out. Oh yeah, it's not too bad. Okay, so just bear with me a second. So this was quite a nice structure here. So we're looking at wave A here. This is AMP on 2-hour chart, ASX. So here we can see we've got a nice clean wave 1 here, and wave 2 here, and wave 3 here, and wave 4 here, and wave 5 to move down here. So this very well may be the end of the road for these markets, and this would kind of line up with the US markets too, making their 4th wave to their 5th wave low here. So it's probably a good idea if we really focus on seeing what markets have going to be completing here and then moving back up from this point here. Now they may only move back up 50 or 60%, or they might move way back up, so they may move to here, or they can have this as the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave here, and actually we go into a bullish run from that point. And this is what we were talking about yesterday as well, in a sense, looking for that situation there. So look, really, it's just really one step at a time. We'll trade short down to these guys here, and we'll pay very close attention on what comes after these 5 waves here, if we get impulse waves or corrective waves. So I was looking at the US markets in the stocks, and the stocks that have been trending down for quite some time, they do appear to have a very small impulse wave coming off their lows. Some of them have got it's quite interesting, really, if you want to have a look at all the New York stocks. So they've been coming down. There's some that have got sort of clear things like this here that will come down and make that new low here. But there's other markets, many of them, that have come down here, and they've actually got little impulse waves moving up here. And what that would mean, when these make new lows here, they would give these stocks an ABC correction coming back and then moving up from that point there. So I'm aware of these two patterns in the US markets, and we'll be paying close attention to using this to trade long on these lows here. Currently we're net short, but we'll look to do some sharp changes if necessary, or at least get to neutral on the turn. All right, cheers.